I'm Chris.
I'm Neil.
And I'm Stargate Pioneer, and we're the host of the Starling Tribune podcast.
A podcast member of the Gonna Geek Network.
Just like the show you're listening to now.
The opinions expressed are those of each individual.
Check out all the other podcasts
at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
And get ready.
Because geekiness begins in
3,
2,
1.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy, brought to you by the Gonna Geek Network. Bringing you the latest nerdy news and geekdom, here are the hosts of the show. Anthony.
No pants, all bacon and dick butts.
Naki.
Don't be jealous that my robot penis is bigger than your robot penis.
Chris.
So when Chris doesn't know how to transition to a new topic because he's flustered, he just hits the button on the soundboard.
And sometimes some special guests.
This makes Burt Reynolds blush.
As Magneto once said, ha ha ha, welcome to die.
If you're a kid and listening, you rock and your parents are awful.
A brand new ATGN starts in 3, 2, 1.
That's right, we're back. It's brand new. Welcome to episode 191 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast, recorded live on Sunday, December 27th, 2015. It's the last podcast of 2015, guys. Holy crap.
Yay!
Don't be too excited that we're almost done for another year. We'll be back.
I'm about to find my friends. Yay!
So we've got a smaller crowd here today. Evidently, Naki got the strep throat from one of the little children, so she will not be here.
Aww.
Who is going to get kicked? Kick that child, Naki.
She did say she was going to kick a child. Now, whether she actually does or not, I don't know. But it is Naki, so it's possible.
I hope so.
But don't worry.
Tiny Hitlers.
We've got lots of
Hitlers.
We got lots of testosterone here for you because we've got one Willie D. Nelson.
I bring the clam.
Maybe we don't have testosterone. We got Anthony Bachman, of course.
I'm bringing testosterone. Willie can bring the clam.
And then you've got me. I just bring technical know-how.
There we go.
Because I'm a producer, is what I'm told. That's crazy talk.
Well, you're more of a producer than I'm a producer, so yeah, you're a producer.
What's this producing you talk about?
Exactly.
I'll do the seducing.
Oh, I have to see this. Go ahead. Continue with that.
Yeah, let me ruffle that beard before you get there.
Yeah, so I don't have the porno bump on here. I'd play that right now.
Oh, no porn bump?
I forgot to move it over to the new soundboard.
Willie, SP said your mic light is way too bright. You're blinding people.
It's my robot penis. It has
yeah,
a light.
that's not actually his microphone light because it's a robot penis. That means the robot penis is engaged.
And the robot penis is live.
It is. So we do have a full peanut gallery this week, it looks like. So a big thank you to everyone that's tuning in the peanut gallery for this week's episode.
Indeed. It looks like there are a lot of peanuts.
Sorry, Naki's not here. We know that everyone comes for her. We're just the bonus.
Oh.
Well, she'll be back next week.
That's what I'm told, at least. But don't worry. She might not be here, but we're going to talk the crap out of Star Wars.
Damn right.
We've got to. That'll be the back half of the show, and it's probably going to end up happening again next week since Naki's not here. So if you need your Star Wars fix, that's what we're here for this week.
I haven't seen it yet, so no spoilers. No spoilers. I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it still?
I'm kidding.
I was like, holy crap, I thought you were going on Monday. Like,
this week is full spoilers.
I'm
so
ready.
If you haven't seen it, don't listen to this episode.
No. You can listen until I play the spoiler alert. Don't tell people not to listen.
No, he was right. No, he was right. Don't listen. We're talking nonsense.
Guys, this is one of the biggest times of year for podcasts because everyone buys their new personal data or their new cell phones or the new MP3 players and they're looking for content to consume. So we want them to listen to us to get hooked because this is the time to hook them.
We are content.
We are content. Now, are we great content? Maybe, but we're fun content.
That depends on your personal definition of great.
Okay, touche.
I'm going to add that to my list of t-shirts. I need a t-shirt that says, we are content.
Is American Idol great content? Not really, but a lot of people watch that, so does it really matter if it's great?
Hey, if we could get American Idol numbers here, I'm good.
Bachman, sing.
We couldn't get American Idol numbers if every camera we had turned on had an orgy on it.
But it couldn't hurt.
No, it couldn't hurt, but like those are some serious numbers.
It could
Warmed
hurt
up.
me emotionally, though.
Even in their last season, those are some serious numbers.
Everyone's like, "This show's great content in the chat room. Thanks for soothing our egos here, guys. We know the truth.
All you got
We
is
know the
peas.
truth.
Gonna Geek content.
Gonna Geek
Didn't say
content.
good, didn't say bad, just said it's Gonna Geek content.
He just said content.
Hey guys, we've got a pretty strong network. We're starting to get a little recognition out there. So hopefully those guys don't listen to us. I mean, what?
Wait, what? What? Shit.
Oh crap! So instead of me just rambling, maybe it's time I just hit the big button and we go on into the news of the week.
Do it.
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week. That's right, awesome people. It's that time in the show when we tell you what we think is the cool, great news of the week. And it's not going to be Star Wars spoilers because I said we'd save that for the end of the show. So if you're afraid of spoilers, you're okay. You can still listen. But if you're afraid of spoilers still, why the hell haven't you seen the movie?
No shit.
Just saying.
Life's tough, man.
Life is tough, but man, it's been out over a week. It's made a crap ton of money. Like, Anthony, how much money has that movie made?
Right now, I think it's sitting at over 400 million.
Yeah.
I have my article up for the first weekend, but not for the full thing.
So what was the first weekend numbers then, since you've got that up?
First weekend was 247.9 domestic and
Damn.
528.9 worldwide. So $500 million worldwide in 3 days.
And here's something we should point out, though, is this movie has not yet come out in China. It's not like Jurassic World where it came out in China at roughly the same time. This doesn't
That's
drop
without
in
China
China.
numbers?
This isn't until
Oh,
like
damn.
January 4th or January 9th, I think, is when it drops in China. So we've still got a crap ton more money it's going to be coming.
That's insane. Okay, right now, Box Office Mojo has it at 440 million domestic and 449 foreign. So $890 million in a week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so the 2 billion mark is not even a hard stretch at this point. That should be fairly easy that it'll break 2 billion.
So the question I have is, did they set themselves up for being too high here? Are expectations too high? When Episode 8 comes out and it doesn't make that much opening weekends, they're going to be like, oh my god, it's a flop.
Yeah, it'll be like the articles we saw that said Avengers Age of Ultron was a flop because it didn't make, what was it, 800 million within the first month?
Something like
according to their projections. Yeah, so it'll be another one of those ones where since it doesn't match up to the bullshit projections, they'll call it a flop, even though it'll be one of the biggest movies in the history of cinema. Which, yeah, it's ridiculous way that they look at stuff now.
So I should caveat and say I think Episode 8 is going to have big numbers associated with it. The one that's going to be different will be Star Wars Rogue One when that comes out this upcoming, what is it, December that's coming out? Whenever the first anthology film comes out, because it's not quite the same Star Wars, so you might not have as many people interested. And I don't want people like, oh my god, it failed because it didn't make the same money as Episode 7. No, it's not supposed to make that much money, people. If it does, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, highly unlikely, but yeah, I mean, Rogue One will be good, hopefully, but yeah, it's nowhere near going to make Episode 7 numbers.
No, I mean, and Boogity Boo also brought up a good point in the chat room, saying Star Wars isn't an institution in China as it is in the West, but it should be good for at least 100 mil. It'll probably be good for more than that, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, it's just the sheer number of theaters they have.
So Draftsman says, so the Chinese listeners should please be careful not to spoil the movie for the other 300 or so million Chinese movie patrons. So looking at the metrics, I don't think we have any listeners in China. I could be wrong, and if I am, please someone send me a message on the Facebooks, the Twitters, or whatever and let me know. But I hadn't seen any downloads coming from China, and it's probably because we're an explicit podcast. Just a thought.
Could be. They have us blocked in China.
It's
We're
entirely
so lewd and
possible.
crude.
And punny. They don't like puns.
We need that on a t-shirt. ATGN, blocked in China.
Lots of people are blocked in China, though.
Yeah, but do they have a t-shirt?
Well, everyone
do
can go
we?
to Teespring and make their own T-shirt, so potentially.
We will soon. I think 2016 is going to be the year I make t-shirts.
The year you make T-shirts.
Stitch
I
by
also-
stitch.
I also want the one that I heard of last night and then found that it actually does exist online. Power, respect, banana.
Are you a minion?
Hells yes. I finally watched that movie. It was awesome.
I just watched it last night myself.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's good stuff.
I'm gonna say meh,
Meh.
but it wasn't made for me, so
That's true.
it's okay.
Because you have joy in your heart.
That's true. It's a black hole of. I don't even.
I just want more Star Wars, guys, and seeing things like it made $49 million at Christmas box office, things like that make me, oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah, it doubled the previous Christmas Day record.
And
Doubled it.
It crushed the new Will Ferrell movie that nobody actually cared about.
Oh, there were new movies?
Yeah,
No,
it looked
there were
funny.
no new movies.
Hateful Eight. I forgot Hateful Eight came out, and I'm probably gonna try and go see that Monday or Tuesday.
I think everybody else forgot too, and they went and saw Star Wars again.
Quentin Tarantino got really mad about that at one point because I guess they were doing some exclusive screenings at some cinema, I can't remember, that was some big deal in California. And Star Wars came in and said, no, you're going to show our movie or you don't get it at all. And got him bumped off.
He basically got screwed in one of the smaller theaters because he's trying to make sure that he has enough theater run for the Oscars.
Yes.
And that was part of his Oscar run was getting this showing at this specific theater. And the way I understand it, basically, he had everything set in place. He, did his application. The movie was going. They had the screening set. And then after the management of the theater agreed to everything, Disney came in and said, no, we're going to take that time slot. So yeah, it was kind of a dick move that the giant corporation with the biggest movie of the year decided they couldn't give up one screen for like a week, which someone had already bought and paid for. See, that's where I see the problem, is that Tarantino had already bought and paid for it to get his screening time, and Disney came in and fucking basically kicked him to the curb with a wad of cash.
Man, this stuff happens all the time, though, when it comes to movies, so I'm not exactly shocked. I mean, it is what it is. It sucks that it happened, but it's Star Wars, so
Yeah,
whatever.
It's just shitty. It's
So
shitty on Disney's part.
I'm looking in the chat room, and Steven, one big papa, said, no one watched Star Wars. It's the biggest flop since Mall Cop. And I know Steven's lying because he went opening weekend and saw it. Steven, who never sees movies on opening weekend, sends
You
me a
went and saw
message.
Mall Cop
I was about to
opening
say,
weekend?
that's what I was
What's wrong with
I
him?
meant Star Wars, but okay.
It's funnier the other way.
I know. But
Hey,
I couldn't disparage Steven that much to be like, oh, he went and saw Mall Cop and he loved it. Now, if he comes in and says he loved Paul Blart Mall Cop, no.
Now,
That's all.
I don't remember seeing the first one, but the trailer for the second one had me laugh, and I was like, I guess I got to give this a shot. Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, you get a shot.
I think I eventually watched the first one on Netflix.
Second one's okay.
First one was kind of funny.
No, it's no. I
You
don't
hush
have to
your
see
mouth.
it. It's a Kevin James movie. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
I don't need to see it.
Kevin James guarantees me 5 good chuckles per film.
If you haven't seen it, Here Comes the Boom. Funny,
He was
great movie.
awesome in that.
Exactly.
Kevin James as an MMA fighting science teacher was fucking hilarious.
So is
That and
Franklin Richards the movie?
What's the one with him and Will Smith? I love that one.
Hitch.
Hitch.
James was hilarious in that one.
Oh, yeah, he was funny, and I do have to give it that. His nervous character always
Yeah. And he takes the puff off his inhaler and slows it down and goes and kisses the chick. Is that he pulled out his inhaler? He did not. Yes, he did.
So before we move on to my news week, SP brought up a link in the chat that I wanted to mention that Disney passed $5 billion in the yearly box office for the first time ever because of successive movies from Lucasfilm, Pixar, and Marvel. Yeah, when you've got those 3 companies in your back pocket, you're probably going to make a crap ton of money, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at this point now, yeah, there's no reason that Disney won't be the highest grossing company in the box office every year going forward.
Yeah, I
now,
guess
see, if they're not, then that is something where their executives will talk about failures.
But they actually didn't have the biggest gross this year. As I'm reading this article, Universal hit $6.8 billion globally this year. Can you guess what 2 movies got them the top spot?
Universal?
I'm trying to think of the Universal movies that came out.
Well, it's in the chat room now.
Oh, yeah, the Furious 7.
So the answers are Jurassic World and Furious 7 because they are 2 of the top 5 grossing movies of the year.
That makes sense. Yeah, those are the 2 good movies that made a ton of money. Man,
crap.
they jumped a car from a building to another building. God damn.
I haven't seen any Fast movies since Fast 4, Fast 5. I can't remember.
They're basically just ridiculous stunt movies now, which is part of what makes them so fun, because you're like, how are they going to top themselves this time? And then The Rock shows up and blows things up.
Exactly, they're amazing. They've cranked up the awesome on those, like the way like Expendables is just eye candy for guns and shit blowing up. That's what Fast and Furious has become for cars. Like, what's the weirdest way we can do some crazy shit with cars?
Well, so don't get me wrong, I want to see them, but I'm a continuity freak. I don't think I ever saw the second one or third one. Fifth, I need to watch them all. Marathon this shit.
You could do it.
Technically, you can skip the third one.
Because everything happens before the third one, except Fast and the Furious 7, if I remember right. It's really weird how their timeline's set up.
Yeah, Tokyo Drift Part 3 actually takes place after after number 6, I guess.
We're titling like Star Wars? Fast and Furious, Episode 7.
Yeah, Fast and Furious, Episode 7. Furious as fuck.
So here's what I'm going to say. If you're a big fan of Fast and the Furious, you should make your own podcast to be part of the Gonna Geek Network. Head to GonnaGeek.com/about and figure out how to apply to be part of the network.
The Furious has awakened.
The Furious Awakens.
Damn right.
I love it. So I guess we'll roll into my news, and I want to talk to you guys about a new superhero movie that's coming out. A superhero movie that might just be a little different than the regular ones.
You're probably thinking this was a superhero movie, but that guy in the suit just turned that other guy into a fucking kebab. Surprise! This is a different kind of superhero story.
Yeah, we have a different kind of superhero story to talk about. The 12 Days of Deadpool Miss, or whatever it was called, has just wrapped up, and on Christmas Day, they dropped 2 new Deadpool trailers, one for the regular and a Red Band trailer. And oh my god, they're so freaking good looking.
Oh, yes, they are.
Yeah, I think I watched it like 6-7 times.
That was my Christmas gift to myself, as I opened up my cell phone and I was reading through Facebook. I'm like, oh, Deadpool trailer! And then I watched it like 3 times before I actually went downstairs.
Nice. That's a good way to start the day.
Yep.
Just so I could see a guy get turned into a fucking kebab. I love that line.
Although I do have to say, just for comedy's sake, I do like some of the lines from the original Red Band trailer better. Like all the banter back and forth with T.J. Miller. Oh, that's so cool.
The new one was kind of, you look like the inside of other people's assholes.
Now, I want to talk about that line right quick.
That was great.
I like how he said other people's assholes. Not just, you look like the inside of an asshole, just not of people's assholes, but other people's assholes. So what does he think about his own asshole?
Who knows? But I think that's...
It could be a pristine temple. I don't know.
That's why, T.J. Miller was perfect as Weasel. I kind of wanted him as Hydra Bob, but, oh man, he's got the lines as fucking Weasel. He's good. You look like an avocado had sex with an older avocado.
I love in the chat room right now, I just see a quote that says, that trailer was amazeballs.
Yes, indeed.
And I think what makes it so fun is it's just so irreverent. You're used to such a typical, straight-up superhero kind of thing where everything's really serious. This does not take itself serious at all because it's Deadpool. And I think some of the stuff I've seen coming out on Twitter was ridiculous. Like some woman be like, I won't let my kids watch this superhero movie until the gratuitous violence and cursing is out. And I'm like, do you not understand what this is? It's a rated R superhero movie.
Yeah, it's rated R for a reason. Fuck that lady and her kids. It's not made for her.
The real question is, if you're so upset by this, why are you letting your kids watch a Red Band trailer?
Yeah, why are they watching trailers that are meant to be rated R?
The first thing it opens up with is rated R, restricted audiences, giant red screen. So
because people ignore that shit these days.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same problem we had with Ted. Because I remember walking into that movie and I'm watching it, and this family comes in late with like 3 different kids, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And I had more fun. Stupid. I had more fun watching them freak out when the teddy bear starts cursing and rush out of the theater than I did anything else. I was like, but honestly, do you not pay attention? You just see something, go, oh, it's superhero, so it's going to be great for my kids? No.
Yeah, that's the problem. No. Like, it's the same thing. That parent walked into Ted and went, oh, it's Mark Wahlberg and a teddy bear on the poster. She didn't fucking watch the trailer, didn't know anything about the movie, and said, I bet I can take my kids to this. Ignored the R rating and bought 4 tickets. Because people are fucking stupid.
And did you guys also notice they've already shown off kind of some scenes have multiple takes of different lines. Like in the original, he says, "You gonna leave me here with this less angry Rosie O'Donnell?" And this one is like, "You gonna leave me here with Jose Canseco?"
Jose Canseco, yeah.
Yep. Which happens because you get the problem where like you see like a really cool line that's in the trailer that's not in the movie, and so sometimes that happens with like ones like this where we're getting so many multiple trailers so fast. It's bound to happen. But if they're going to keep getting us cut lines like that would end up on the DVD extras anyways, I'm fine with it because they're fucking funny.
Don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to those special features where they have all the outtakes.
Oh, the outtakes on this are going to be ridiculous.
Well, bear in mind, they did something similar with the Star Wars trailer also. We got a bunch of stuff in that trailer that was not in the movie. Like the whole scene you see where Maz Kanata hands off Luke Skywalker's lightsaber to Leia didn't happen. It was only in the trailers.
Yep.
I don't know, but Deadpool trailer coming soon. It looks really fun, and that's what, February, I want to say? Mid-February?
February. Yep.
Yeah. I'll be in theaters with my brown pants on.
I got IMDb up. It is February 12th.
So I guess the next batch of superhero movies, you're going to have Deadpool, then in March, Batman v Superman, and then in May, Captain America. So basically, you just got to go 2 months at a click without getting another superhero movie.
Pretty
It's
much.
not bad.
And, oh, dude, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, hold on, I'm fucking tweeting.
Yeah.
That shit was hilarious.
Well,
I was stoked to see her finally use her powers, too.
I'm also
like,
happy
it made
to
her
see,
look cool.
I'm happy to see Colossus so involved in it, too, which was pretty cool to see. And then the whole, I don't have time for your X-Men bullshit. Does this exist in the same continuity as the current X-Men movies? And maybe it does, which could be kind of cool, which means we might get Wolverine. That is the thing everyone's hoping for, is that Hugh Jackman might make an appearance.
Don't worry, it's still in continuing with X-Men Origins Wolverine.
But that got removed with Days of Future Past, I think.
Yep.
And Hugh Jackman also helped fuel that rumor, too, because one of the days of Deadpool Miss or whatever, he tweeted a picture of Wolverine with his claws up and Deadpool dancing on his claws.
Nice.
That was one of the things for the 12 days of Deadpool Miss. So who knows? It might happen. I'm super excited to see if it does happen because, hey guys, it's Wolverine. You've got to have Wolverine Deadpool banter.
Excuse me, I'm trying to think. If he appears in Deadpool, will that be his 8th or 9th Wolverine appearance?
Oh God, a ton.
Because I think the next one that he does puts him as the actor that's been a character in more films than any actor ever. Like right now, he's tied with all the Harry Potter kids for doing 8 films. So I think his next appearance, the next time he shows up as Wolverine, he becomes the actor that's played a character in more film franchises than anybody in history.
Well, give it time. Robert Downey Jr. will take that record soon.
No, he might.
He's going to appear in everything.
I count 7. Am I missing one? The first 3, Origins.
X1 through 3, Origins. He was in First Class.
And then Days of Future Past. That's the 7 I got.
And then the Wolverine.
The Wolverine.
Oh, that's
be 8.
one. That'd be 8.
Yep.
I forgot about that one.
So we're asked in the chat room, would it count as Hugh Jackman's last Wolverine? No, he's still doing a final Wolverine movie.
Yeah.
That would be
One more
his
full
final
film.
appearance, he said. One more full film. Because, hey, the dude's what, like in his late 40s? Having to get that cut all the time is probably pretty brutal.
From what he's shown, it is. And the amazing thing is that every time he's done it, he's gotten better shape. He literally is the only human with a healing factor.
Well,
he's progressively gotten more buff and cut as he's been Wolverine over and over and over. It's fucking scary.
You did hear how his training regimen was set up this last time. He worked with The Rock for his training regimen for the last Wolverine movie.
That'll do it. That'll motherfucking do it.
When he had that naked scene in Days of Future Past, his body had more veins than the Incredible Hulk did in the 2008 movie, the CGI one.
That's true.
I was like, is it possible?
Indeed. It was impressive.
That was for the ladies and for a lot of the dudes. Big. How the hell does he do that?
Yeah, pretty much. Time to make people jealous.
That's pretty much what happened. So that wraps up my Deadpool news, which comes into a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm really curious to see what Naki thinks about it when she's back next week, so we'll have to ask her about her thoughts on Deadpool. But before we move on to the whole Star Wars extravaganza, Willie, what you got for your news this week?
I guess I got some more comic book movie news.
I love it.
Apparently in an interview, Mark Ruffalo says Bruce Banner and Hulk consciousness is merging in Thor Ragnarok. Let me just pull up, see what he exactly says. It says, I think we carry read this right. It's not just a matter of him taking himself to some remote place and hiding. Now he's removed himself from humanity altogether. I'm not sure where we're going to head with that, but I'm sure that's probably still very much alive within him. Then when the thoughts about the two personalities might merge is very subtle, but the Banner Hulk consciousness is beginning to meld a little bit. So I wonder how much trouble that's going to cause for Thor during Ragnarok.
See, I don't even know how they're going to fit Hulk into the Ragnarok story. I'm very curious to see how that goes because I have no clue.
Yeah, that was a pretty self-contained story when they did it in the comic.
I mean, they could start moving towards some of the comic arcs they had where Banner was basically the Hulk when he was in Hulk mode.
Yeah, Banner Hulk was good, but he's also not as strong.
That's true, because he doesn't get as angry.
Yep.
And are we sure that this isn't the robot Ragnarok?
No, they made a point of hinting in Avengers 2 that this is supposed to be like the end of the world for Asgard.
Hey, misdirections can happen.
That's true. So I'm really curious to see where it goes, but we've still got until 2017 for Thor Ragnarok. Is that what it is? Something like that.
Yeah, it's a ways off.
I'm still looking forward to the movies coming this year, or the 2016.
So we've got Father Axmus in the chat room, which might happen to be one Ryan Newmark, former guest host extraordinaire of the show, who said, "Are they going to swap the Hulk out for one of the Norse bodies in Ragnarok, or Norse baddies in Ragnarok?" That's possible. You could try and make the Hulk be the bad guy, but I think they're going to try and go with the awkward team up after they happen upon each other.
Yeah, Thor Ragnarok isn't until November 3rd, 2017.
Yeah, so we're
2 full years away.
2 years basically.
So that script's probably just kind of getting off the ground.
Yeah, I doubt they've even started much of it. They're probably still more focused on let's make sure the Civil War train is completed. And don't they have Doctor Strange before that too?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Doctor
that's
Strange
the one
and Black Panther, right?
Yeah, they've got to get a lot of work done on Doctor Strange because that's the next big one where everyone's going to go, is Marvel going to be able to pull this all off? And they've kind of proven they can, so I'm not super concerned, but you never know.
They pulled Ant-Man out.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Every time I start to doubt a little bit, I'm like, oh yeah, they did Ant-Man, and people loved it.
And let's not forget about Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like, who's the talking raccoon and tree? What is going on?
What is this, a Star Wars movie?
Basically.
It kind of was, but I guess it is time we start to roll into that whole Star Wars talking. Before we get into the spoiler side of things, did anyone see Oscar Isaac do the cover of Bill Murray's Star Wars song?
Yes, it was sensational.
If you get a chance, go and look that up. I saw it on Facebook. For those who don't remember, Bill Murray on SNL, I think it was SNL, but Bill Murray years ago came up with lyrics to the Star Wars theme. Oscar Isaac did a cover and added some of his own lyrics to it, and it is freaking awesome. If I can find the link to it, I'll put it in the chat room and the show notes.
Because Bill Murray did it as like a lounge act, and then Oscar Isaac did it on acoustic guitar.
Yeah, and he was
both
good at it.
Fantastic.
And
Nothing but Star Wars.
And if you're Oscar Isaac, then you got to think he's going to be in a Marvel movie, a Fox Marvel movie, and Star Wars. He's going to be in 2 big movies in less than a year. Good for him.
Wait, what Fox Marvel movie is he in?
He's Apocalypse. And
he's Apocalypse?
He's Apocalypse.
Wait, Poe Dameron is Apocalypse.
Poe Dameron is Apocalypse.
Apparently that had somehow skipped over, that fact had not set in my nerd brain. That's kind of cool. I'm glad they fixed his fucking face then. He's a good actor.
So I guess you guys want to roll into some Star Wars talk then?
Yeah.
So I will say, guys, we're going into spoilers. If you did not want to be spoiled on Star Wars, just turn off the rest of the show and come back to it when you're ready. But I guess we're going to Star Wars, so here's your warning. I just wanted to be able to put that bump in there, I'll be honest. And I'm even changing, if you're watching the live video, to my spoiler alert tag. So anyone that sees it, this is Star Wars spoilers. Do not watch if you don't want Star Wars spoilers. I'm going to give you 5 seconds here as I ramble incoherently until I blab out a big spoiler. The movie was awesome. That's not really a spoiler.
I was going to say, who's going to say it? Who wants to say it?
Oh, I don't know. What do you guys want to open with first on this one?
Kylo Ren is an asshole.
Well, yes.
Han and Leia's kid is an asshole.
Kylo Ren is a petulant child, basically.
Yes, he is. He's the worst nephew ever.
He's the son of Han Solo. Did you expect him to not be an asshole?
That's true.
He could be a little less of an asshole. He didn't have to ruin his whole uncle's fucking Jedi Academy. Like, what a dick.
Yeah, but he has a great force power of his hair is always fantastic when he takes off his helmet.
This is true. He does not have helmet hair.
He never has helmet hair.
How does it fit in there? I'm like, where does his hair go? That helmet's not that big.
The same way he can catch fucking laser bolts in the air and stop them from moving, he can fix his hair instantly when he takes his helmet off.
Not only does he stop it in air, he just goes on about his business and it stays.
I know, that shit was fucking cool.
See, I don't know. That's where I kind of get into... His powers vary a lot. I mean, I don't think he's completely trained. And I have a theory for that I'll get to in a second. But at one moment, he's able to freeze a blaster bolt in midair, a power we've never seen Vader, Palpatine, anyone do. And you're like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then he gets his ass owned by a stormtrooper who's never used a lightsaber before temporarily. Like, the guy cuts him up a little bit, and you're like, what the hell? I mean, I know he's shot, and he got shot with a bowcaster, which has been wrecking face the entire movie, but I just... It's interesting to me.
Well, I think it's that thing of him being a raw force user, where in the moment, he sees the laser blast coming at him and just goes, fuck you, and stops it. Where in the sword fight, that's something that you're actually learning technique. And, apparently he wasn't paying attention to Uncle Luke when it was sword fighting class.
I guess. So I kind of have a theory here that he's not very well trained yet at this point in time. And in order to set up this theory, let me take you back to Star Wars A New Hope. Much like this movie does, we're going back to A New Hope. There's a lot of echoes of things there.
Oh, Jesus, don't remind me. I was like, is this the same movie?
Yeah, that's the same thing my girlfriend said. She goes, hey, I love this alternate universe take on A New Hope when it was all over, but neither here nor there. If we go back to A New Hope, when Alderaan is destroyed, Obi-Wan Kenobi physically is pained by it. You see him grab a wall and almost fall down. Luke doesn't notice a damn thing. In Force Awakens, we have, 5 planets destroyed within seconds of each other, and nobody reacts.
Well,
that's not true. That's not true. The end scene of the movie, that's why Luke is still crying. He's like, you don't have to just blow up motherfucking planets, man! Damn!
No, he's not
He's
crying.
been crying on his little island the whole time.
There's no tears in Luke Skywalker's eyes.
Now,
he looks pretty sad.
I've heard some differences about. I've heard it's only one planet that gets blown up. I thought it was multiples too, but somebody says they watched the movie and they read the novelization, and they said, that's what I thought too. I was like, I thought it was multiple planets, but he was very adamant.
So some people have read the novelization, and I will say, based off of what I've read, I haven't read it, but the novelization was based off an earlier script of The Force Awakens than what they shot with. So it's not 100% accurate to what was in the movie. I saw 5 when I watched it. SP's in the chat room goes, it was 5. There are 5 planets in Echo of Captain Picard.
Yeah, because I think they do 5 in the first system that they attack, and then they show it set up to aim at 5 others in the new one, but they're starting with just the 1 when they stop it. But yeah, I thought it was 5 as well when I saw it.
So Ryan's in the chat room, and he goes, the reason Luke is sad, in his opinion, is that he's standing over his wife's grave, and then his daughter showed up with his lightsaber. So I never saw a headstone there. It looked like he's just standing at the edge of the bluff looking out over things.
Yeah, I thought he was just chilling on his island planet.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that claim there was a headstone there, but I have not seen it. And I've seen the movie twice.
Yeah, I didn't see a headstone, but I haven't gone back and watched it. I watched it in 3D, and by the end sequence there, I had a pretty good headache going. So,
Did you watch it in 3D?
Yeah, the first seats available that I could find in my valley for the opening weekend were 3D. So it was cool, though. I have to admit, I enjoyed the 3D. It's the first time in a very long time where literally that scene where they show the Super Star Destroyer coming at you, I actually went like this. I pulled my fucking head back because, the way they shot the 3D, it was done extremely well.
Well, they didn't shoot anything in 3D. It was all post-production effects.
The way they up-converted it. Yeah, other than the really fast lightsaber fights, pretty much everything else worked really well in the 3D.
Okay, so I have to say, those lightsaber fights were awesome just because of the damage you did around them. You got one of those fights I'd always wanted to see, where you sort of got it in Episode 3, as they're, destroying the room around them. They're swinging lightsabers, and tree limbs are falling, and things are smoking, and I was like, this is awesome. This is exactly what I wanted out of it.
I do have to say that laser bolt freezing in midair was awesome in 3D.
Yeah, I could see that being pretty cool in 3D.
Cool. And then, how did you guys like the Vibro Blade Stormtrooper that can fight against a lightsaber?
Odd.
Like, that dude was pretty cool. Well, it's just like the staffs that some of the droids used to carry.
Yeah.
That character did more action than Captain Phasma.
Phasma,
yeah.
I've seen the memes. Disney tries to make Captain Phasma badass, and then this dude shows up, no name, and wrecks fucking house.
That should have been her. That would have been...
Yeah. Why wasn't that Phasma in the fight sequence? Random, unnamed stormtrooper becomes one of the coolest characters in the film.
We do know that Disney and Kathleen Kennedy have specifically said they have more in the works for Captain Phasma, so presumably she survives the destruction of Starkiller Base. I have no idea what that's going to be going forward. There was a cool thing they brought up, though, in the visual guide or whatever to Star Wars Episode 7 that was published. The reason her armor is chrome is because it is made out of Palpatine's old Nubian cruiser, which was all chromed out and stuff like that. So they made her armor out of his cruiser.
Yeah, I do have to say that was the one character that I was kind of disappointed in. I hope they do something really big with her in the next one, because she's the one character you can just pull out of the movie and you don't really lose anything.
Or just do something with her. All this, you're making her sound awesome, but was she awesome in the movie? Don't tell me she's awesome. Show me she's awesome.
I tend to agree with what Draftsman's saying in the chat room, where he says, I think they're saving her for the next movie. I don't think they could fit everything they wanted in this one because it's a lot of setups. I think you'll get more of her going forward. And
could be, yeah. I hope she's a total badass because, yeah, the character looks cool and it's a great actress.
Of course,
they didn't do anything with the character in this movie.
Ryan has a different alternative opinion where he says, Phasma's the new Boba Fett. Does nothing, looks cool, huge fan following.
I don't know, then she already talked too much if she wants to be the new Boba Fett.
That's true. Boba Fett only had like 2 lines the entire time.
Yeah, she had 5 lines just yelling at Finn when she caught him in the hallway with his helmet off.
And as
like
Finn,
a damn hall monitor.
Yeah. Ryan's actually got some really good points he's bringing up that are kind of refuting some of the issues I had. Like the whole stormtrooper with the baton that's able to fight a lightsaber. I was kind of like, okay, this is just in there to have this cool moment. And the chat room says, no, it's not odd at all. They're hunting Luke Skywalker, so it makes sense they'd have weapons to use against lightsabers.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. That makes sense to me now.
You would think the Empire R&D would eventually make something, because yeah, you had the droid staffs that could fight lightsabers. So eventually the Empire would come up with weapons to duplicate that type of energy field, to where even though it's not a lightsaber, it's a weapon that can make contact with one and not be completely destroyed.
Seeing they also expected a lot of Phasma in the movie due to the merchandise.
Yeah,
I think we're getting a lot. I mean, SP even brings up the big thing in the Smuggler's Bounty, the Funko Pop thing that came out, was the chromed out Phasma. He says, Captain Phasma was not awesome. I'm ashamed to have received her Pop Funko figure in my Smuggler's Bounty.
I was thinking that when I left theaters, like, man, they were really happy about that Funko Pop.
If he doesn't want his, he can send it to me. I'll have 2, because I love mine. As that chrome Phasma is still one of the coolest looking pop figures ever. Though I did get some more for Christmas, which I'll have to share in a moment.
So I know we're nitpicking on some of this stuff. I think we all enjoyed the movie.
Oh, yeah, I'd give it 9 out of 10. It was almost perfect. And it was nostalgia overload.
I'm not going to rate it until a few months from now, because I do bad when it comes to rating things when they first come out, because it really hits me hard. And I'm like, oh, I love this. And then after some time, I'm like, maybe I didn't love it as much as I thought I would.
I will say... Oh, go ahead.
I will say I really did enjoy it. I loved a lot of the callbacks to the old stories and things like that. And I think JJ did exactly what he needed to do, which was to restart everything and reload everything so that going forward they could be like, okay, here's how we continue the story. And one of the interesting notes I did see is that JJ and Lawrence Kasdan and Michael Van Arten, who collaborated to write the script, they struggled a lot with how to bring Luke Skywalker. And some of the early scripts of this movie had him show up like halfway through. And the problem they ran into then was that anytime they brought Luke Skywalker in, he then became the focus of the movie. So they kind of did what they had to do there, set everything up and be like, okay, here's the MacGuffin. You finally found Luke Skywalker, and end.
Yeah, I kind of like, you have Man of Steel, collateral damage. It's Star Wars Episode 7, The Search for Luke.
Yeah.
Because if they'd have called it that, people would have been pissed, but that's what it is. It's 2 hours and 25 minutes of where the fuck is Luke Skywalker? And why did he leave a map if he was really hiding?
The first line in there is Luke Skywalker has vanished.
Yep.
I mean, that's the opening line.
Oh, the crawl was cool. You guys were both in packed theaters, right?
I was for the Sunday showing. The Thursday night showing was not as packed.
Did you guys actually get like cheering and like clapping and stuff in the theater?
Not really.
As soon as soon as the Star Wars theme started, everyone cheered. When Han Solo appeared, everyone cheered. We haven't gotten to the Han moment yet. I'm sure we'll get to that soon.
Yeah.
Before we do that, though, I'm just kind of following up what people are saying in the chat room, topics they want to discuss and bring forward. And Ryan had brought up one interesting one I wanted to really talk about, and the chat room just scrolled. But he said, can we talk about how they've reached a new dark origin for the Stormtroopers? The First Order is basically kidnapping kids at birth and indoctrinating them.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's basically a cult now instead of the clone farms.
So I don't know if you guys ever read any of the Halo books, like The Fall of Reach and things like that, how the Spartans were created. That's basically how they created the Spartans, is they went and took a bunch of young children, replaced them with clones, and then trained them to be super soldiers.
Oh, wait, so in the Halo universe, they actually replace the kids that they steal with clone babies?
Yeah, so I think
That's
they're around
funny.
5 to 9 years old, most of those kids, when they first get them. They replace them with clones and take those kids and train them to be soldiers.
At least that's kind of nice. At least they replace them.
But it's...
Here's a copy of your baby. We take your baby.
Why not just make the copy and take the copy?
Well, I mean, and at least they acknowledge the clones in this one, too.
It's never as good.
It's true. They did acknowledge the clones in this one, though, too, because Kylo Ren had said something to General Hux along the lines of, why didn't we just use clones if your men can't handle it, or something like that. So there is potential for clones coming back in some way, shape, or form, I would guess. What that is, I don't know.
And I did kind of like it. I mean, in the original trilogy, Stormtroopers are kind of a joke. Because you're thinking that it's the end of the last of the clones and the start of people being like indoctrinated into the Empire. So we never know if they're all clones or not by the end of Return of the Jedi. But there was always basically a joke. There was some Stormtrooper ass kicking in this one. So yeah, indoctrinated, kidnapped, indoctrinated, and trained from birth. Some of these Stormtroopers were actually shooting and hitting the shit they were shooting at. It was kind of nice to see.
So I would go back to the original trilogy and say the vast majority of Stormtroopers are probably not clones, because if you've been watching Star Wars Rebels, you meet a bunch of the former clone troopers, and they're frigging old, and that takes place before the original trilogy.
Because they're kind of aging out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of those things, it's like, why were Stormtroopers such a joke in the original trilogy when they made them really cool in Clone Wars, and now we're seeing Stormtroopers that, get to kick a little bit of ass. They don't miss every single thing they fucking shoot at anymore, which is kind of good.
No, I completely agree with you on that. It's pretty sweet.
All right, do we want to talk the numbers?
I got a little bit of something beforehand. You asked if the theater was full. I've been called a one-up and bastard before, and you saw it in 3D. I had to see it in 3D because I wanted to see it in D-Box, if you know what that is, where the seats move and everything with it.
Oh,
yeah,
sweet.
douche
It
box.
was really badass with the flying. It was like, oh, wow, yeah, let's do this. Hey, it's fun. You shut your mouth, Bachman. But the only way to see it in D-Box was you had to see it in 3D. I was like, fine, whatever, I'll do that. And I was it was okay. Everything, the action scenes were okay and all that. But there was only 3 people who bought tickets for D-Box, myself being one. And then one of them just so happens to come sit right next to me. I was like, I got this whole clear row. There was every other scene was. I was like, but it's weird because he came in like 30 minutes into the movie and sat down right beside me. I was like, what the hell?
That's creepy.
You're paying your tickets for this, and you're coming in 30 minutes after for the tickets for this is kind of a little bit up there.
Oh yeah.
And then he gets up about 5 minutes later. It goes back outside, comes back and sits in a couple further toward the edge of the seat, toward the aisle. I was like, what? Did you just have the wrong seat or something? It was a little weird.
Could be. That is weird, though.
It was whatever. I mean, but other than that, I believe pretty much it was packed out. Even on a Monday, was it noon 50? Or no, it was 2:40.
That's not bad. But before we get into numbers, though, we should probably touch on a couple other things, because we gave a lot of general impressions, things like that. What did you guys think of the new characters? Finn, Rey, Poe? Do you guys dig them? You think they're going to be a good generation to pass the torch to?
Hell yes. I think Finn's hilarious, because that kid just he runs with the moment. Whatever the fucking moment is, let's just go. And
Finn and Poe are hilarious.
And Poe's hilarious. But there's something about oh damn it, I can't think of his name now. The kid who plays Finn.
John Boyega.
There's something about when you're watching him on film in this movie, you can tell that every time JJ said cut, John Boyega went, it's fucking Star Wars! Even when he's sad, he looks, there's a twinkle in his fucking eye that tells you how happy he is to be on that set in
So
every scene in that movie.
I saw some interviews with him. He goes, the worst thing they ever did is cast a fan in this movie. He goes, because I'm a fan. So he was in there having a blast. The only thing he actually screwed up in this movie for me, and it's a super nitpick, but the first time he lights the saber right before he fights the baton guy, he does not touch the ignition switch, man.
Oh, does he miss the button?
No, he doesn't even push where the ignition is. There's a button up near the top of the lightsaber blade. That's what he pushes and it ignites. I'm like, that's not the ignition button on a lightsaber. And then I was like, oh, I'm that fan now. Crap.
There you go. Yeah, no, they're all awesome. Rey is super cool. And then the one sequence with Poe Dameron, in one flight, I think he kills more TIE fighters than Luke did in his whole fucking career. Like, Poe Dameron is a badass when you put him behind the stick of a X-Wing.
And Poe Dameron was supposed to die originally in some of the early cuts of the script. When that TIE fighter crashed on Jakku, that was supposed to be the end of him originally.
Nice. Yeah, I can see why they kept him. Because, that is a cool character.
Yeah, so I think Rey was the big revelation. Daisy Ridley just nailed that role. You feel for that character. I do think Luke Skywalker is her father. They're telegraphing that, and I don't think they're going to swerve us that. And I have some backup for that. Because in the vision, she sees all of Luke's perspective of things, and also, go back to her AT-AT home, she has that X-Wing helmet that looks a lot like Luke's, and there's also like a doll made up to look like an X-Wing pilot.
Nice.
Luke was a very famous X-Wing pilot also.
So why did he leave his kid behind? What a douchebag.
So, there's various theories. He might not even know that he had a kid. It could be the mother had run at some point in time as things were falling apart, and he never knew. Or it could be he had to move her away for her safety. Remember, it's a Skywalker tradition. You have to hide your kids for their safety.
Yeah, but usually only when their dad's an asshole. If Luke's not an asshole, then he should have been able to protect his kids.
Well, here's one of the theories. Is a lot of people think this is going to end with Luke falling to the dark side and being taken out by a combination of Rey and Kylo Ren. Excuse me.
That would be crazy.
I don't believe it, really. I think that, and JJ even said in an interview, the reason that, spoiler, we all know Han Solo dies. I expected it to happen, but even when it happened, I was like, I looked over at my girlfriend, and as that moment was about to happen, he's walking out there, I go, oh no, they're going to kill him, aren't they?
That's what happened when I had to go use the bathroom? That's what happened?
He was the character that I called. That was the one. Was like Han's going to be the one that dies. But the way they did it, when he's walking out to Kylo Ren on that ledge, it's like, oh shit, they're gonna fucking kill him. Like his son's just gonna take him out. It's like, goddamn.
Yeah. So Ryan in the chat room says, I really hope we don't see a Ren redemption story. And part of what JJ has said in some interviews, JJ Abrams, was they had to find a way to establish the fact that Kylo Ren was evil, that he's taking these steps to turn away from the light. And what better way to do that than to kill Han Solo? He goes, we could have kept Han. He says we could have kept Han around. He goes, but here's the problem we ran into: is what point does he serve? He'd just be hanging around the rebel base, things like that. So that was kind of the way to end that character's arc and then establish just how evil Kylo Ren is. Now, there's a fan theory floating around right now that Kylo Ren he's an embedded spy or whatever, trying to take apart the First Order from within, and he had to kill Han to keep his cover intact. Sorry, I had a brain fart there for a second. I don't believe it.
I don't buy that at all.
You would have thought they would have let Han Solo in on, hey, he's a double agent. Don't get in his way. Like,
and the way Kylo Ren behaves, like he's not set up to be a double agent. If that would be like the cheapest version of the story.
I don't think
I like the idea of no redemption, of a character that has that little bit of light side in him and is fighting to kill it. Like, actually purposely trying to be evil. Like, that's a great fucking version of a Sith.
Well, he's not a Sith. Let's keep that in mind, too.
Well,
the Sith are gone at this point in time.
Yeah, at this point, there are no Sith. Hey, all he needs is an apprentice, and he's the Sith master. That's all he needs.
Well, okay, so let's go to another theory here, is Supreme Commander Snoke. We know he's a giant hologram that we've seen. Supposedly, the alien race he is about 7 foot tall.
That
a lot of
hologram
people,
thing bugged me.
Palpatine did the same thing. Go back to Empire, and you've got the giant Palpatine
looked
hologram.
like a hologram.
This looked like a hologram.
When they first show it, like him sitting there, they try to make it look realistic, like he was a giant god or something.
The colors are all washed out.
I did think he was a giant person until
fair enough.
Oh, okay.
So one of the theories floating around right now is that supposedly Commander Snoke has been behind the scenes pulling strings for years, even since the beginning of the Empire. A A lot of people are theorizing, and this has not been confirmed by Disney or anything else, that Commander Snoke is Darth Plagueis, who was introduced in Episode 3.
Oh, that
Remember,
Snoke is actually Plagueis?
Plagueis could manipulate midichlorians to create life. So, theoretically, he could keep himself alive after Palpatine killed him, is what people are arguing, and that Plagueis could, in fact, be Snoke. And this could be the continuation of the Sith. I don't believe it.
What was that, 5 lines in Episode 3 or something they talked about him?
Yeah, and then they did a book about it right before they wiped away all the canon, and then basically said...
Can't count it.
I know.
Apparently that book is really good.
But if you go and look at some of the pictures and stuff of Darth Plagueis that had been created based off of that, he looks a lot like what Commander Snoke does, and Disney's been quite quiet about it.
Yeah, he looks like basically a zombie.
He looks like he's had the crap kicked out of him. I mean, look at the side of his head; it's like dented in and burned. It looks like.
Yeah,
that's what all Sith look like, right?
So, Chris, do you have our numbers from when we guessed how much Star Wars: The Force Awakens would make opening weekend?
Oh, I can find those real quick.
You should grab those, and I'll go over what it actually made.
Oh, while you're doing that, I do have to say, go ahead and hate me. I'm gonna have to rate. I'm teetering between 6.5 and a 7 out of 10.
That's fair. I mean,
that's not bad. I don't get mad at anybody else's rating. They want to tell me it's a 1-star movie. Then I'm gonna tell them to shove it up their ass because they're wrong.
Like I said, I'm not a Star Wars fan. I'm not like an uber fan. I know the storyline. I know what's going on, but I wouldn't say like, yeah, I gotta get everything Star Wars. I'm not that guy, but I mean, I do enjoy the story.
I'm apparently becoming that guy. I keep finding every day I have more and more of a love for Star Wars, and it's been fun. I'm kind of glad I got the Smuggler's Bounty because it's the one box that I know everything in it I'm gonna enjoy.
Like I don't think I saw all the movies till I was like 17.
Oh geez, yeah. See, that's not when I was little. One of my oldest pictures of me is in kindergarten wearing a C-3PO and R2-D2 droid shirt. Like I've been a Star Wars fan since way back in the day.
Nice. So, before we go into the bets itself, real quick, I did want to mention I love the fact that some people just can't get over the fact that Han Solo's dead. There's a Facebook group I'm in where people are discussing the movie. And the one guy's like, just because we saw him get stabbed and fall, it doesn't mean he's dead. I'm like, are you kidding me? He's dead.
Like his hand was cut off. A lightsaber went through his fucking heart.
Now, hold on a second. Darth Maul got sliced in half, and they brought his ass back for the Clone Wars, didn't they?
Well, that's because Zabrak organs aren't in the same place as humans, so theoretically he could live and lightsaber wounds cauterize, so that's neither here nor there.
Chris, you're nerd to showing. You better watch out.
I know. So it got really interesting because this guy I was having a debate with is like, he goes, well, prove to me based off the current canon he was dead. I said, okay, go back to episode 1 where Qui-Gon Jinn, a Jedi, gets stabbed through the heart and dies within minutes without even falling down a giant shaft. He goes, well, I don't see the prequels as part of canon. I'm like, well, then you're a moron because Disney said they're canon.
Except for midichlorians, apparently.
There's very little canon left, and the prequels do count no matter how much people don't want to admit they do.
So you guys wanted numbers real quick for what the original bets were. I have those for you, and I will share them right now on the screen share. So, from the Gonna Geek Network, we had bets that varied all over the place. The SP had said 220 million, Lauren 275, Haley 300, Op had said 235, Beef had said $1 to try and prices right it. Wing said $115 million was wrong by the third day the movie was out. Lobster said 214. Cody Goff had said 75 mil. I had said 190. I was wrong. Naki had said 200. Anthony had said 237. Sean had said 210, and Shannon 230. So I think you got the closest, Anthony.
Yeah, I believe I won by Price is Right rules without going over.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, I was off by 10.9 million, according to Box Office Mojo.
Fucking Beef, I love that guy.
He tried to Price is Right it, and I love it.
$1,
Bob. $1.
Yeah, so per the article they put out on December 20th, Star Wars Force Awakens stormed the box office and walked away with $247.9 million first 3 days domestic, which included the largest pre-sale ever with $57 million in Thursday night previews. So technically it's 3.5 days worth, because it used to be like the midnight releases, but I think there were some previews that went Thursday night as early as I think 7 p.m. So I mean, there was a lot of people seeing it preview night on Thursday. And then, it was 528.9 million worldwide opening internationally. And then, yeah, the list of records is insane. I'm not going to list the ones that had the previous spots just because some of them, there's just too many. But it now is the largest Thursday previews, largest Friday opening day and single day, largest Sunday, domestic opening weekend, worldwide opening weekend, highest per theater average, top opening weekend for a PG-rated film, top holiday opening weekend, biggest weekend overall, biggest December weekend, biggest single day, widest December opening weekend, fastest to 100 million, largest global IMAX opening record, and domestic IMAX opening record. And those were all the records they set the first 3 days. That's not even listing what they've done now as it continues, another week into it. But yeah, they set all those records the first 3 days the film was in the theaters.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Disney's making all the money, basically.
Yeah. Disney's taking all of my money.
I'm okay with it.
Problems?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm fine with it.
Good, guys. Let's continue on.
They get my Star Wars money, they get my Marvel money. Disney just gets all my money.
That's true. So we probably should start wrapping this one up real quick. Well, soon-ish. I did want to say the other fan theory that makes me laugh because it's just ridiculous is that, Finn's got to be either Lando's kid or Mace Windu's kid. I'm like, really?
What?
Really?
Yeah, I read an article. Yeah, it said that it was that Finn's last name was going to be Calrissian.
How would it have been Mace Windu's kid? Because that timeline does not add up.
Or excuse me, a relative of Mace Windu. I'm like, just because they've only introduced 2 black guys in the Star Wars universe doesn't mean Finn has to be related to them.
There's one other random black pilot, plus there's the guards on Naboo. There are a couple more black guys in Star Wars.
Everyone wants all these new characters to be related to some of the original characters. I don't see it being the case. Would I be shocked if they make Finn somehow be associated with Lando? Not exactly. I kind of hope they don't, just because the fact we've already got Kylo Ren as a kid of Han and Leia, and then Rey presumably being Luke's kid. I think that's enough tie into the original characters. And if you look at the Star Wars series as a whole, they make too many people be Skywalkers, damn it.
Yeah, I like the idea that Finn is just a random kid stolen from his family, because I love the fact he didn't have a name. Like, Poe Dameron actually gives him a name because he's a call sign and a number at the beginning of the movie. I thought that was really cool.
I did too. I really liked
the call sign.
He was
FN 2137.
And what is that a reference to?
Princess Leia's cell in the Death Star.
There we go.
There's all sorts of little Easter eggs in this movie. It's fantastic.
Yeah, there were tons.
I know we need to stop rambling about it, but I did want to bring up when Rey had her vision. Did anyone catch all the different cameos and appearances that were in there? You had Yoda's voice. You had Allie Guinness as Obi-Wan Kenobi speaking in there. Ewan McGregor recorded new lines for that vision.
Nice. I
There's
don't think I caught
stuff.
half of it. That's why I need to go see it again.
Yeah, so J.J. Abrams had confirmed a bunch of that. They actually took a line of Allie Guinness in Star Wars A New Hope, saying, "Don't be afraid." And they took the Rey out of that to make him say Rey in her visions. And
nice.
They took some lines. Frank Oz came in and re-recorded some Yoda lines that they used that you hear in the very beginning. And then at the very end of that vision, if you listen close, you hear Ewan McGregor say something to the effect of, "Rey, these are your first steps as Obi-Wan Kenobi."
Nice. Yeah, I need to see it again. I got a Fandango ticket for Christmas. I have to go see it again tonight.
Yeah, I've seen it twice, and what I would honestly suggest is the first time I saw it, I did not absorb near all of that. I was just sitting on the edge of my seat like, oh my god, what's going to happen? This is so good. Mm-hmm. The second time before I saw it, I'd gone and read some of the articles about here's some of the Easter eggs you should look for, and I specifically went and watched for them. And the Obi-Wan Kenobi lines in the Vision and Yoda, I was like, holy crap, I actually hear it now, but if you're not actively listening for it, you'd easily miss it.
Okay.
It's really cool. I don't know. So anyone else have any final thoughts on Star Wars before we start wrapping up things?
I like what Drasman just put in the chat room. He said, I would love if Finn goes looking for Rey, runs into an old friend of Han, and he mentors Finn. If they have to be, so they could share screen time but not be related. So if Finn is actually hanging out with Calrissian, looking for Rey, that I could deal with. But yeah, they don't need to be related.
No, don't make everyone be related.
The only thing I got is Rey. Overpowered novice.
Yeah, so Rey's slightly OP in this, I think, near the end. But at the same time, you can also balance that by saying that Kylo Ren is also injured and wounded and things like that, so it kind of makes up for the fact that she's become super powerful there, too.
See, I like the idea that you don't know your limitations when you first get a superpower.
Yeah, that's true.
Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, whoops. a yellow character's ass because no one ever told him his ring didn't work on yellow.
So I think she's OP in comparison to some of the other characters we've mentioned, but not necessarily the way the Force works and what they're setting up now, where she's basically just lets go and lets the Force control her, it seems like. And that's when she starts basically destroying Kylo Ren, because she's about to get forced off that crevice. And then you see her take a moment, close her eyes, and pretty much reach out to the Force. And the way I read it more was that the Force was more controlling her, and she was being a vessel for the Force to help get her out of that. Now, who knows if I'm right.
It seemed to fit for me.
The people that are going out there and saying on Twitter and on Facebook and things like that Rey is a Mary Sue, just shut your faces. You're wrong. I could argue that she might have been slightly OP at the end, and I might be able to agree with you on some of that. Slightly. I don't think it's ridiculous, because if she is truly a Skywalker, look at the things the Skywalkers have done just because of the Force. At age 9, Anakin destroys a spaceship.
But what you're doing right now is you're pretty stretching that one if she is a Skywalker.
They're hinting very heavily at the fact that she is.
Even if she's not, there could be other people that have a better connection to the Force than the Skywalkers.
Perhaps she's the true chosen one.
Then an immaculate conception of the Force itself? No.
Well, I actually
Let's
got
keep
retconned.
the Jesus out of my Star Wars, thank you.
Well, I mean, I'm continuing on with the Plagueis thing that he forced it upon. Not quite like, oh, it's just the Force just came together and did it.
All right.
Immaculate conceptions is just what drunk bitches tell their husbands so they won't get in trouble.
Oh dear.
But they still do anyway.
You like that one, Chris?
Yeah, that was
you like
great.
that one?
So, final thought on the movie for me is the payoff for Luke Skywalker. Totally worth it. It's just I'm really bummed Mark Hamill didn't get to say a damn word.
Yeah, the fact that like there was such a build up and all this huge stuff, but it's like, and then nothing.
You know that initial
2015, the year of Mark Hamill.
Oh, I know.
Luke Skywalker, the Joker, and the Trickster. He got all of his jobs back. That motherfucker is working.
Yeah, he's making a bunch of money. So, you know when they did that initial script read, remember that first picture they showed for Star Wars Force Awakens? It was everyone around the table reading their lines. You know Mark Hamill had to be like, what the hell? Okay.
Man, I don't have any lines. What
Can
the
I
fuck,
get a sandwich
JJ?
over here? Can I get a sandwich over here? I got nothing to do.
I got nothing to do. Can someone give me a sandwich?
And we have to say, to be clear, he is J.J. Abrams. He is not Jar Jar. He did not fuck up Star Wars.
Yeah. And so Ryan's in the chat room, and he goes, what we did get of him was very powerful, though. Yes, we got just the way he looked on screen and the look on his face. Very well done.
That beard was powerful.
It was an awesome beard. And the whole robot hand with no skin anymore.
Yeah, that's a funky look, but I like it.
I mean, he's been on his own for how long, so it's entirely possible. I can't wait to see where they go with it, and I think it's going to be a very interesting balancing act for Episode 8 to try and not make it all be about Luke, because Luke is a very interesting character in the Star Wars series, and a lot of people gravitate towards him, and they've done a very good job so far about making it be about Rey and Finn in the new generation.
I do want to mention one thing. Who the hell went to Cloud City to the wherever the lightsaber fell down to go get it? Because that was not his green lightsaber. That was his blue one. Anakin's.
That was Anakin's weapon. So
and that fell down Cloud City.
Yeah, I have no idea, and hopefully we get some resolution on that at some point going forward. I know in the expanded universe, they had retrieved his hand and the lightsaber both and used the hand to clone Luke Skywalker.
You gotta figure, Calrissian, he's a smuggler. He's all about making the dollars. He saw that fucking lightsaber fall. He's like, you know what? That shit's worth some money. I just watched the episodes where Hondo in Rebels is talking, or in Clone Wars is talking about how much the crystals are worth. If Calrissian saw that lightsaber fell, he'd have sent a boy or two down to go get it.
But they were already gone.
But then wouldn't he have taken that crystal out of it?
Maybe. He wanted to and didn't get a chance.
Shit happens, motherfucker.
It sort of does. So I guess we should start wrapping things up on Star Wars. I keep seeing stuff pop up in the chat room. Guys, we're already over on time, so save some of those thoughts for next week, because I'm sure we'll talk about Star Wars again when Naki's back. I'm not trying to cut you off. We just need to start wrapping up the show because we're already over on time. So my apologies, everyone in the chat room. We'll get to it next time. I promise.
And we still have Christmas presents to share.
God, yeah, we do. So I guess we should start wrapping things up. We'll do that in our traditional way on this show. It's a bit we call What I'm Into. It's basically our chance to share with you guys, our audience, the new stuff we've been getting into and maybe convert you to our cause. And I'll go first because I haven't done a whole bunch of stuff. I've basically been cleaning my house, but one of my awesome Christmas gifts, I got a new toaster, and it looks like Darth Vader, and it burns the Star Wars logo on my toast. That's right. It's awesome. Nobody else is intrigued by this. I'm just getting.
I think it's pretty cool. I just don't think it should only have settings for dark.
Yeah, it's more toasty than Anakin when it's all said and done.
It kind of got a little too burnt up with the lava.
Go from dark to Mustafar. It should go from dark to Mustafar. Those should be the settings.
So, other stuff I've been getting into, I spent some Christmas time with my folks. That was fun. I have been playing Rise of the Tomb Raider on the Xbox One, which has been really fun. And I did not mean to fall down this rabbit hole, but I fell down the on-demand rabbit hole, and I started watching the show Quantico off of ABC. And at first I thought, oh, it's going to be some ridiculous kind of soap opera thing, and I won't like it. No, it's actually a pretty cool mystery story, and they keep me guessing all the time. And there are 11 episodes of this season so far. I'm on episode 9 now in a day and a half, because I've just gotten hooked into trying to figure out the mystery around this entire story. So if you're looking for a good mystery show, which also happens to have gratuitous amounts of sex and violence thrown in it from time to time, go check out Quantico on ABC. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it.
Never a bad thing.
Say, how much sex is on if it's on ABC, though?
Well, enough. I mean, it's
enough.
It's in the primetime block, man. People are constantly getting it on, be it in the shower, in their beds, in hallways. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, you don't get the gratuitous flesh like you would on an HBO thing, of course. But I was sitting there, I was like, is this dude just going to sleep with everyone? And at 9 episodes in, he's basically slept with everyone. I'm like, huh. Normally that would bother me, because it doesn't make sense, but it's the mystery around everything that's going on where I was just like, okay, this is what's got me hooked. The overarching story is basically there's a terrorist attack outside the Democratic National Convention in New York City. They try and think one of these agents that you're introduced to in flashbacks is the person behind it, and then the story is all based off of their training in Quantico 9 months ago, because one of those agents was the terrorist, and what's going on in the future. So they keep flip-flopping time between those two periods, and you start... I don't know. I can't really describe it well. It's just awesome.
Nice.
I really enjoyed it. But other than that, I'm sure there's other stuff I'm missing. I saw Star Wars twice because that's how I roll. I'm probably going to watch Empire Strikes Back today because I need my favorite Star Wars movie. And because I also have a theory that Episode 8 is going to be just as dark. But that's mostly what I've been getting into. One, Willie D. Nelson. Sir, what have you been getting into?
Well, with all this Star Wars talk, I do have to... something I did see on YouTube that was actually really good. The channel called Belated Media. This one guy, he came in and he pretty much said, "Hey, what if Episode 1 was good?" And
I've seen this one.
And he changed it, and he actually finally did Episode 2 about 2 years ago, and he finally put out Episode 3 this year, where he changed a lot from Episode 1 to 2. Like, the storyline has changed tremendously, so it took him some time to come up with Episode 3 to continue on with all these changes. Really well done. I like the story that he put out, and it's kind of a good what if. Other than that, today I'm going to go get a PS3 because I'm tired of looking at my TV and nothing being on it.
Oh.
It's going to be in use today. I know it's just a PS3, but hey, I need something to stream up there and to play some things. All my digital copies of the PS Plus games still there. Can't go wrong with it. And you know what? I'm going to treat myself a little bit. I'm going to go get Ant-Man today. So I haven't seen it since the theaters.
I might have to go and get that soon, too. I bought a bunch of Blu-rays, though, so I need to be good.
It's a good Blu-ray. I picked it up last week or the week before. The bonus features for the deleted scenes is worth buying it alone.
And just to let you know what top 3 movies I'm most interested in for 2016 in order is, well, because Winter Soldier blew me so far, like expectations so far out, I'm looking forward to Civil War mostly, then Deadpool, and then shut up, y'all, Batman v Superman.
Batman 5 Superman.
I'm interested in that one, too, I'll be honest. I want to see it, but it does not have the same level of interest as the first 2 movies you mentioned.
Well, that's why it's number 3.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I have come out with my concerns in regards to Batman v Superman. I hope it's good, but I have my concerns based off all the reports that they're shoving everyone in that movie. That it might not be.
Goomba-headed Bizarro Doomsday.
You mean Bizarro, who looks like the Abomination?
And just for you, Bachman, I will go watch Civil War in Douchebox.
In Douchebox.
Hey, try it out one time. It is very fun for the right movie. It was bad for Ant-Man. Ant-Man was a horrible movie in D-Box.
I don't like the idea of not being able to have my drinks secure.
Oh, no, they say they're pretty good. Just put a lid on it, man. You're good.
You're good to go, man.
Beer bottles don't come with lids.
Well, the place they don't have you can't bring beer bottles in the place.
No reason to go.
I don't drink myself, so there's always reason to go.
The only time I let myself drink now is when I go to the movies. I need my 2 beers.
We do have a place that does it where you can order wine and beer and gourmet popcorn that costs $10. Yeah,
that is fancy.
Well, considering most popcorn in a movie theater costs like $8 to $9 already.
That's true.
Paying an extra $1 for gourmet.
Making it gourmet is not that bad.
Yeah, it's like in the same building with the theater I usually go to. That's one of the nice with the D-box in it, the douche box.
The douche box.
The douche box.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting Ant-Man and watching that. Yeah.
Nice.
Go aheads.
So one last thing I'm into that I completely forgot is that I switched out to a new soundboard app for running the soundboards for this show. So that's why I'm missing things like the pour and bump, which I'll get put in there later. But I do like this one. Anyone who's interested, it's called Jingle Palette. It runs on Windows very nicely, and it's free. Go check that out. But
nice.
Mr. Bachman, sir, what have you been getting into?
I finally finished season 5 of Clone Wars, so all I have left is the last season, the Netflix season. So I got to see the return of Darth Maul and his brother Savage Opress and see all that cool shit. I'm really excited that they did a 6th season, because if you haven't seen it, the way they end season 5 really kind of sucked, with Ahsoka Tano going on trial and then leaving the Jedi Order. Like, if it had ended there and they hadn't done any more, like, that would have been a shitty way to end that show. So yeah, I'm stoked to get that done, because then I got the whole first season of Rebels to watch, get caught up on. I gave one more show a shot that I'd heard a lot of good stuff about. I watched the first episode of Dark Matters, which is a really cool sci-fi show where you have the group of people wake up on a ship and don't know who they are or why they're there or how they got there, and as they're trying to figure out basically what they're doing in space, who they are, and what's going on. A bunch of different weird questions being answered, and it's got a bunch of people from a lot of the really good Canadian shows, a bunch of actors I don't know the names of, but I've seen them in other stuff. It was a really good first episode. I'm excited to see how the rest of that first season goes. I saw Star Wars, watched Minions finally, which, power, respect, banana. I want that shirt. That fucking movie was funny. And then I had a really good Christmas. My Secret Santa at work is insane. My Secret Santa gift came in a giant Star Wars box that was basically filled with Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, gift certificates to Fandango and my local comic book shop, and she got me Ghostface from Scream, the Scream Pop, got me C-3PO with the red arm, so I can add that to my Star Wars Pop collection, and she got me the Chewbacca Pop, which is possibly the cutest pop they've ever done. So yeah, my Secret Santa, who was supposed to spend $10 to $20, went way over. And yeah, everybody at work was very jealous. I had an awesome just stack of stuff. And then the roommates and the friends were really awesome. I spent a good chunk of last night playing Until Dawn, because the roommates finally got me that. I do have to say though, it's compared to all the button mashing games I'm used to playing, it's really cool and I like the story. But the fact that if you play it for the first hour, it does a previously on Until Dawn twice. Like, why are they giving me wrap-ups like an episode of a TV show of a game I've been playing consistently for an hour? I don't know why those sequences are in there. They bother me.
Well,
but so far, I really like it. It's fun. What was that, Willie?
They set up in chapters, so when you finish a chapter, it's kind of like a good stopping point, and when you start next, that's why. I understand what you're saying, though.
Yeah, there should be something in the game that lets it, because I can see if you log back in, that it should do that, because that would be perfect. It'd be awesome. Like, hey, don't forget this shit, and this shit happened. But the fact that, it did 2 wrap-ups while I was playing, it's like, I know that just happened, motherfucker. I'm still playing the game. Quit telling me what just happened. And then my other buddy got me the only at Target Nature Boy Ric Flair Pop in the pink robe. Woo! Hell yeah!
Does he have a feathered boa?
Yeah, it's got the feathered collar and the sleeves. Yeah, to be the man, you gotta beat the man. And then yeah, the roommates and their son actually got me a new hat too. So I got me a pretty little Broncos hat, which I really like, but won't fit over my headphones. But yeah, it was a really good Christmas. Oh, I had some artwork that I've already put away, but I ordered a piece from Justin Stewart. See if it's up on my Instagram. It's awesome. Elongated Freddy Krueger piece, and then that's pictures of all the other shit he sent with me. I gave him just a couple bucks as a tip, and yeah, he sent me 2 other art pieces, 2 stickers, and a copy of his sketchbook.
Nice.
So not only should you pay for art, if you tip an artist, you might get a fucking shit ton of extra stuff sometimes. If you make it really happy. But yeah, it was a really good Christmas. Went out and saw my grandpa, 2nd year since grandma died, and he decided this year, once again, not doing the huge turkey dinner, he wanted pizza. So we had Papa John's for Christmas dinner, because grandpa didn't want a goddamn mess in his kitchen. I like it now.
Respectable.
But yeah, that was my Christmas. It was good. And I'll probably go see Star Wars again tonight, because I got that Fandango gift card burning a hole in my pocket.
You always go see Hateful Eight.
I'll see it eventually. I like Tarantino, but I'm more interested in seeing Star Wars not in 3D so that I can, kind of really see it and not get a headache.
But I was there with you. That Star Destroyer pointed right there. I was like, oh, wow, that's right there.
Yeah, that sequence they did very well. Yeah, I can't remember. I mean, other than Avatar, I can't remember the last time 3D was done well enough to actually make me move my head to where they showed something on screen and I went, oh, damn. Like, it was well done. It was impressive. Especially, for a movie that was up-converted and not shot in 3D.
That was the one standout 3D, though.
Yeah, that Super Star Destroyer was cool looking.
Word. So, we probably do need to be getting out of here. It is running a little late. Like I said last week, don't worry, Naki will be back next week, and we'll probably talk some Star Wars when she's here again. Probably not for a full half hour. I'm aiming for like 10 to 15 minutes of it. So, anyone in the chat room who I cut off your Star Wars conversation on, come back next week. We'll discuss things then.
Chris,
Indeed.
You keep saying every week that we're running late, but when it's a consistent time, it's not late anymore. It just is the regular.
Yeah,
See, the show used to be like an hour 40, and then he cut it down, and I'm just consistently trying to build it back up to as long as it used to be.
Well, I already knew that with Star Wars it was all going to be running late today, but so that's beside the point. As we wrap things up, don't forget you can go find the show over at atgnpodcast.com. The entire back catalog is there, the chat room, all sorts of stuff. You can get a hold of us on Twitter at ATGN Podcast or on Facebook at facebook.com/allthingsgoodandnerdy. If you have feedback for us, send it to atgnpodcast@GonnaGeek.com or call us on the ATGN hotline at 304-806-ATGN. Don't forget, we stream live every Sunday at 11 a.m. over at live.atgnpodcast.com, at geeks.live, and on Channel 3 of Alpha Geek Radio. It is part of our ongoing quest to be everywhere on the internet on Sunday morning to make sure you can consume our content. Seriously, consume our content. The next live show for the Gonna Geek Network on geeks.live will be Monday night at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. That is the official GonnaGeek.com podcast. So if you're a fan of the Gonna Geek Network, go check out the official cast. It's pretty fancy.
Sometimes it's funny.
Only sometimes. That's what it says in the opening credits, man.
Yeah.
So before we get out of here, you guys have any final thoughts, parting shots, anything like that?
I was supposed to have something clever, but I forgot it.
I'm going to stick with Kylo Ren as an asshole.
Okay, so real quick, if you want some funny Star Wars accounts, go to @KyloRen with the last E being a 3, and that's emo Kylo Ren. And also
nice.
@VeryLonelyLuke on Twitter. @VeryLonelyLuke. They are both hilarious.
I'm sorry, you should have... the emo Kylo Ren kind of really gets me. I gotta look that up.
Yeah, @Kylo Ren, where the 3, where the E is a 3, excuse me. So those would be the things I would suggest. On that note, we're going to start getting out of here, guys. But don't worry, we'll be back next week with some more ridiculousness. Until then, bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm so emo, I put eye makeup on my helmet.
Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, Channel 3 of the Alpha Geek Radio app, and over at our network home at GonnaGeek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGNpodcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. Yeah, seriously. Almost all the music on this show comes from Incompetech. But we're done with the live show for now. We'll stay live for a couple minutes. If anyone in the chat room wanted to discuss anything else real quick, we got about 5 minutes and I'll shut off the feed.
Oh, so how far are you into Until Dawn? I do have to ask that.
The dude from Hydra's girlfriend got sucked through a window.
Oh.
It's totally fucking Grant Ward. I love the fact that Grant Ward showed up in the game that I'm playing. I'm like, oh shit, it's Grant Ward. I'm going to play him as an asshole.
I can't believe I didn't notice that was him until I saw something on Reddit. I was like, I thought he looked familiar the whole time. I couldn't place it. Something in my head just was like, click, click, click.
Lots of people didn't realize it was him, I think.
Yeah, that mocap was done well. I was like, oh fuck, that's the actor that plays Grant Ward. I'm recognizing most of the actors that are in it. Yeah, the girlfriend got sucked out the window, and then the two kids that were playing with the Ouija board went down to the library. So I'm at that point.
Yeah, you still don't know what's going to happen. There's some crazy shit you're in for.
Oh yeah, because I haven't even got to the point of, because we watched a big chunk of playthrough where the chick is getting out of the bathtub, and like the game really starts. Yeah, with the cheerleader. To me, she'll always be the cheerleader.
That magic towel just stays on.
Yeah, that's annoying. I want to see Hayden Panettiere without a towel. But yeah, I know. Yeah, that sequence is coming up, and yeah, I haven't even got to that part yet. I was shocked by how much there was, like just getting them all to the cabin. I was like, holy fuck, this story's got a lot. The game's got a lot of story just getting them all up there.
Like, I cannot stress enough. It is my game of the year. Like, I haven't played any games toward the end. Like, it is game of the year, hands down.
Nice. Like, yeah, I'm enjoying it. When I want to go shoot some stuff with other people, I hop on Battlefront. When I want to shoot some stuff by myself, I hop on Borderlands. And if I want some actual story time, now I've got Until Dawn, which is the only other game I wanted until Ratchet and Clank comes out. So I'm good. I got PS4.
I almost caved and got Battlefront when it was down for $40 over the holidays, but I was like,
We bought it for our friend because he was the one of the basically it's three of us that are just best friends since high school. He was the only one of us that didn't have it yet. But of course, the fun part was he was talking shit about Star Wars all the last couple of weeks and saying that he's more excited for Christmas than Star Wars, blah blah blah. And so we gave him a box with a note in it that said, "We bought you a Star Wars gift, but you've been so anti-Star Wars, we took it back." And then my other buddy put rocks in the bottom of the box, so it was really heavy. And yeah, all it had was a note in it. And then after we give him shit for a couple minutes, we actually just handed him the game. It's like, here's your fucking game, crybaby. Of course, and he went home and started playing it with his 8-year-old, so he's already enjoying it.
For 1 year for Secret Santa, I got my buddy's name, and I had to be a dick. Of course, I wrapped it regularly, and I worked at a grocery store, so I got a bunch of those plastic bags. I started pulling a bunch of them off. I put the present in it. I tie the thing. I put it upside down inside another one, tie it in, put that one upside down another one. And
they were all upside down.
No. And then also duct taped it all around.
Oh, you are a dick.
I think I got them, Robot Chicken, one of the seasons. DVDs.
So all of that was just one DVD?
Well, I'm sure it was like 3 DVDs in it for all the episodes of the season. It was like a couple years ago.
I saw a video earlier today. I didn't see what the end result was. It looked like basically it was a Tic Tac, but a kid gets a box that's like good size, like PlayStation size box, and the note on the Facebook post just said every parent should do this to their kid at least once so they remember it. He opened it up and inside was another wrap box, and he opened it up and inside was another wrap box, inside another wrap box, another wrap box, another wrap box, a wrap like sunglasses case. Inside that was a box. Inside that was another box. Inside that was a peel bottle. And then inside that was another wrap box. Like, this parent had gone nuts. I think it was 13 layers And yeah, like the end thing, like he was holding up something so small in the video, I couldn't even tell what it was. It looked like a fucking Tic Tac. It was like a Tic Tac or a chiclet or something.
And then the card attached to it says, "Hey, your breast stinks. This is for you."
Something like that.
Anyone hanging out in the chat room, I think we're going to get out of here then, since I'm not seeing much questions, comments, concerns, anything there. But we will see you guys
talking about Battlefront.
Battlefront's pretty sweet, I've heard.
I can't wait to get it again.
We'll see you guys next week, and we're probably going to try and experiment again with doing some of this on Blab again, so the chat room's in more real time. So keep your eyes open, and we'll let you know how that pans out. Bye, guys.
Laters.